Hello everyone, welcome to today's lecture. We're looking at perfect competition, looking at diagrammatic illustration in the perfect competition market structure as it is. So let's start by looking at what is perfect competition. So perfect competition is when a market structure which we produce identical goods. Usually we are looking at many buyers and sellers who are offering a product that actually is going to be identical. We always say homogeneous goods, right? They are price takers. Usually these firms in the perfect competition market structure, they are price takers. They take their price on the market, right? Then let's look at their characteristics and assumptions of perfect competition. So the first one is that there's many buyers and sellers which are actually selling various products in the market. So that's many buyers and sellers right there. They are selling homogeneous goods, which means they cannot charge their own prices, right? They're identical goods and services that they're offering. Then homogeneous identical goods, it's very difficult for you to charge your own price when you are looking at being a price taker, when you are focusing on the market, being the one charging the price. Then we also talk about perfect information. Consumers actually have perfect information about the value of products that they're buying, so they will know the actual price that they're going to be sold for. Then there's free entry and exit of firms. Usually we are trying to say that there's no barriers to end and exit. You can freely enter the market, you can freely exit whenever you want. Then firms are price takers. I already mentioned that one. Then also there is perfectly mobile factors production. Usually their factors productions are mobile. The capital, enterprise, land and labor, they are very mobile in this type of market structure. So let's move on to the diagrammatic illustration of market structures, right? We are trying to look at how does the perfect competition behaves in the market. So what we are going to be doing is that here on the first diagram, I'm going to be drawing the market. Then you're going to be drawing the firm on the other side. So the issue is that we have to know that in the perfect competition, they actually enjoy what we call supernormal profits in the short run. So let's try to draw the diagram. So we label price here. Then this is quantity. Then we have price, cost, and revenue. So here we draw the market. So they are price takers, they take the price on the market. So this is supply, this is demand. So this is the equilibrium, as you can see here. Like we have said, they take the price from the market. So I'm going to be taking the price from the market to give it to the firm. So then we take the price here across. So this is the same price here. So remember, the same price line becomes also the average revenue equals to the marginal revenue also equals to demand. That's what you should know. I also have quantity here as usual, right? Then what you do is that you now draw the average cost curve, which is a curve like diagram like this. So you draw it below the average revenue curve. So what you do is that you come here and you draw it like this. That's how you draw your average cost diagram. Then you have to draw marginal cost, which is like a Nike tick, whereby you are cutting average cost at its lowest point. So what you do is that you draw it like this, cutting, you see at this lowest point. So remember, also firms are profit maximizers. They want to produce where MRI is equal to MC. So let's look for where MRI is equal to MC. MRI is equal to MC here. And that's our quantity Q2. That's where we are going to be maximizing the supernormal profits. So we have to compare now average revenue, which is here at the price, with average cost. Average cost is here. Average revenue is there. So you now have this is where average cost is. So this rectangle becomes the level of supernormal profits, right? So this is how it behaves in the short run. In a perfect competition, they are actually going to be supernormal profits. So let's try now to draw the diagram of subnormal profits. So this diagram we are going to be drawing. So let me just wrap this. This is now subnormal profit. So I'm gonna remove this diagram here. First, I'm gonna remove this part. Okay. All right. Let me just remove this part. Okay. Yeah. Then these curves, of course. All right. So what we are going to be doing is that we are going to be now drawing the subnormal profit. So this is now we are trying to draw the loss. All right. I've now quickly rubbed the board, right? So let's now draw the average. So it's not subnormal profit. So what you do is that you now have to draw average cost curve above average revenue. So here you draw the average cost curve slightly like this, above the equilibrium. So mine is quite high, but that's how you draw it. Then now you draw the marginal cost, cutting the average cost curve at its lowest point. So you now take it like this. That's my MC right there, right? Then you now have to look for where MR is equal to MC. MR is equal to MC here, right? Then this becomes our quantity 2. Then remember average cost. You have to compare average cost and average revenue. You have to compare average cost and average revenue. This C where you put it. This becomes the C1. So this is the cost curve that is now compared average revenue and average cost. That is our level of subnormal profit, which is the loss. So this is the triangle right here. Right. This triangle is representing a loss. Right. So this is what happened also in the short run when firms are attracted by those supernormal profits that we have drawn before, because there's no barriers to enter and exit. Then other firms enter, increasing the supply, then other firms will start leaving, then we start having the losses. Then we want to look at the long run equilibrium. What is going to happen in the long run? Because this is what is going to happen. Other firms are going to leave once they are now losses. So let's look at the long run equilibrium, right? So let me rub it again. I'm gonna wrap this part. It's no longer the short run. All right. So let me just simply walk you through this. So economics is actually very interesting subject, especially when you are doing market structures. They are very interesting. They usually have you just have to consider the assumptions of these market structures that you can better understand it very well. So in the long run equilibrium, mine is not very straight, right? Let me just, yeah. Okay. So in the long run equilibrium, we are now going to be seeing average cost curve now, being able to be tangent to average revenue here to show the long run position where we are going to be making normal profits. So in the long run, there is normal profits, right? So you need now to draw the average cost curve here, like this. That's how you draw it. Then you now have to draw the MC cutting AC this lowest point, which is here. So if you are going to be looking for the profit maximizing point where MR is equal to MC, it's right here. Then that becomes our Q2. That's the level of supernormal profits. So it's going to be tangent to MC is equal to MR here. Average cost is equal to AR here. So this is where we are having normal profits. So let's look at the conclusion as we are trying to conclude this market structure. So we are trying to look at the 4 static efficiencies that do exist in the market structure. So we're trying to find out, do this firm has all those things? In the perfect competition, does it have, in this case, let's look at allocative efficiency, as you can see on the diagram. So here, it does have allocative efficiency when the price is equal to marginal cost, which means they are not overcharging consumers higher prices. There's no consumer exploitation. They're charging a price that is equal to the cost of producing the product. So we say they are allocative efficient, right? Yes. Then are they productive efficient? Are they producing at the lowest point of the average cost curve? Yes, they are. This is the lowest point of average cost curve. That's where they are producing. Yes. So are they also X efficient? So usually a firm that is productive efficient is usually X efficient, which means they're actually going to be minimizing waste and trying to be innovative in their production process. They're also going to be X efficient. So are they dynamic efficient? A firm can only be dynamic efficient if it has profits in the long run, if they have supernormal profits in the long run. So in this case, they don't have profits in the long run. They have normal profits. I mean, they don't have profits to reinvest back in the business. So they are not dynamic efficient. So that's the four static efficiencies that we have here. They are allocative efficiency, they are X efficient, they are productive efficiency, they are not dynamic efficiency because they don't have supernormal profits in the long run. So this is the perfect competition covered perfectly. When you look at the diagrams of the short run equilibrium, we need to talk about supernormal profits and subnormal profits, and in the long run position where we are having normal profits, and looking at the characteristics, the assumptions of a perfect competition, and also talking about what is it? Is it a perfect competition? What is that type of market structure like? Is whereby we have many buyers and sellers selling homogeneous goods. They are price takers. They take the price from the market. They are producing homogeneous products. There's no barriers to enter and exit. They have perfect information. They are price takers. The list goes on and on. So that's perfect competition for you covered perfectly. I'll see you in the next video when you talk about now maybe monopoly or monopolistic competition. I'll see you in the next video.